In this section, we're talking about how to be successful in your business, how to manage it effectively. But the first thing I want to talk about is when you specifically come into a new company. And I tell you what, this is when the rubber meets the road because normally you're going to be on probation for about maybe 60 to 90 days to see how you do. And one of the biggest issues right now that most companies have is, did you really tell the truth on your resume? Can you really do what you say you can do? Now again, when you come into a company, you've got to understand you must be teachable. You must be humble. You must come in there understanding how you can serve somebody. This is the way you get to the next level of success. But you got to make sure that you have that capacity to be able to do what they want you to do. And what you have to do is understand when you walk into a company that you want to make sure you go in there and you are aggressive in terms of your time management. You don't leave the building till they tell you to leave the building. You want to make sure you're the first one there. You're on time before meetings. You don't show up late because each company has a culture. And what I had to do when I was working with the Coca-Cola company, I had to sign the code of conduct. And the code of conduct is the culture of the company that I had to abide in. It was integrity, it was honesty. And I had to sign that every year because they knew that I came in there, I was managing multiple millions of dollars. I was managing a lot of people. But in your case, you might start off new. But if you understand how to go in there and operate, and you've already been taught about the heroes principle, you've already been taught about the essential soft skills. Now you got to know how to come in with the right frame of reference. A lot of people come in with an entitlement, thinking that, hey, you owe me something. Nobody owes you anything. In fact, what I've heard right now is that they're looking for people who come in that understand that they can be teachable and be flexible in the workplace. So you've got to, when you come into a workplace, you've got to be ready to be able to be flexible. Things are going to change. We don't live in the same environment we did last year. So when you come in, don't have an entitlement mindset. Walk in there to serve somebody. Walk in there with excellence, right? Honor. Do these things are very, very critical. But understand this, it's a process. Embrace the process of you walking through the company and going up through the ranks. Things don't happen as quickly as you might think. And so you must understand it's going to be a process for you to walk through in that level of success. A couple things I want to share with you. You want to start small and you want to finish big. So you want to make sure when you go in there that you don't get overwhelmed, okay? There's going to be a lot of things thrown at you in that first week as a company. When they onboard you, it's going to be a lot of information. So you're going to have to make sure that you take it all in stride. And let me say this, over communicate, ask a lot of questions. There is no dumb questions when you come into a new organization. And one of the main things that I've heard over my course of my 37 years is that people lack the training when they come in. So that's why I'm encouraging you, when you walk in the door and you sign on the letter of intent, you're coming to this organization, come in humility, come in teachable, but come in ready to ask a lot of questions. If you don't understand something, please ask the question to get clarity on that. You're going to have to understand to be realistic because you're going to be in the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days on probation. So you have to maybe make sure that you are obviously doing everything they ask you to do. And as I mentioned before, be on time, be early. See, my clock when I was a manager is that I was hoping you'd be there 10 minutes to 15 minutes before the meeting started. Okay, and I would stay late. And I want to encourage you, you need to be able to help you understand that there are protocols within your organization. Sometimes you need to ask some additional individuals and say, okay, what's the protocol here? I relate a quick story with him. My nephew was working in a local organization, and he would leave at 5 o'clock, and the owner came to me and says, hey, I'm going to fire him. I said, why? Because he leaves early. I said, did you tell him to stay late? He said, no, he ought to know better. So there's some things in your business you're going to have to know by talking to other people and be observant that you might have to stay a little bit later when it comes to these specific things. Let me give you another point. You want to volunteer and serve any way you can. You might not have the expertise to do it. You might need to get help from somebody else, but be the volunteer. Be the first one that raises your hands. Now, I was spending 37 years in Fortune 500, and I would go in these meetings, and I'd be the first one to raise my hand because I wanted to volunteer, get the experience, and be the one that they can count on, and be able to have that positive attitude we talked about in the heroes about expectation. And be adaptable. Understand, be flexible and adaptable in the situation of the workforce. So as you go into this new opportunity, understand it's going to be a process. Take your time. Enjoy the journey, right? Enjoy the process of going through. get the experience you need to have. This could be a company you might work with for a couple years, or it might be 5 years, it might be something that you want to go a longevity for a longer organization, as long as they move you up through the ranks if that's what you want. Other people want quality of life. So just understand, you got to understand what you want to be able to accomplish in this organization, where you want to be, and don't be afraid to ask what it's going to take to get to the next level. What is the whole platform and the path of me going into promotion and advancement? Some of these people never ask that question, but you have to ask that question if you want to get where you want to be. This is, again, the first aspect of how to be successful in business. And remember, your focus, it does determine your future.